Hey, welcome to a really exciting announcement about Wizard School, how a way you can learn real magic, practical skills, and spirituality, and all the deep mystical things about energy flow and channeling and energy healing and manifestation, broken down in a very, very solid formula that talks about how you heal, how you understand your awareness, how you transform the world around you. This course has taken so much time and I've invested so much love creating it. I'm really excited to share it with you because so many people have often said, what do I do first? There's so many different areas to look at. What are the things that I need to learn if I want to build these skills? What's some of the science that's worth exploring and looking into so I know the difference between real magic, what's legitimate, what's validatable versus fantasy and Harry Potter and the Magician series. Really, really awesome stuff, but not really exactly real world. There's so much science that I've researched and that I've imbued into this and a lot of my other teachings. So your rational mind, your left brain can go, this stuff actually does make sense. This is actually how we reinforce and shift and manifest our realities. And as you learn this stuff, as you learn about things like the matrix and holograms and divine beings and angels and blessings and curses and all that other stuff and karma, it's going to be really, really refreshing to understand a bit more of the nature of reality and your place in it. Now, as always, all these things are offers. As a teacher, I'm also a fellow student, and everything is ideally customizable to your way of life, to your belief system, to what goes naturally for you. So while I offer generalities for a big, wide general audience, it is up to you for how you understand and interpret the material and apply it to your life. So in so many years of like 10 years formally and 23 years informally in studying these topics, I've just been so obsessed and so delighted to invest so much of my time creating this. I've had a lot of needs like many of us do. And in a lot of healer circles, they say the wound is the gift. So if you're considering any trauma, childhood or older, if you're thinking there was ever any major challenge in life, if you have certain triggers or trigger patterns that come up for you, all of those wounds are actually gifts. And if you've known from any personal growth work, as you do the inner work to overcome the wound, to overcome the challenge, to get back to reinforce with and harmonize your best ideal self, one of the things you'll notice is as you make that shift, become more of an adult, become more of your higher awareness, higher self, it gets easier. And there was a lesson to learn. So as I go deeper into more personal topics in these courses, I share a lot about my own personal journey, challenges, struggles, things like that. And in that story, in that journey, there were so many stimuli, like different health situations, different physical body situations, different life situations, that I share in a way for you to understand the different details of how certain things can affect mind, body, spirit, and how opening yourself up to your subconscious, to your energy body, to your past lives can heal and remove those types of wounds. And the skills that you build in learning that stuff serve you for life. It's kind of like if you were running and one day you fell and a bunch of gravel went in your leg. It was really bad. And you got the surface gravel removed, you thought it was fine. And then, sometime later you go running again, or you want to run more intensely, like a bigger commitment in life. And what you notice is there's a little bit of something wrong. And so you get an x-ray or something and you see there's actually more of that gravel deeper in your leg and you have to go through a whole thing to get it out. The body is an onion like that, and so is the soul. And you can do a certain amount of inner work and be served really well in life and your goals and hopes and agendas and dreams. But magic is such a huge upgrade. Whether you're a beginner or you consider yourself intermediate or advanced, it's always great to get a foundation of this material and to really understand how you can apply it to your life and to your practice and your own personal individual sense of spirituality, however you define it. So I really hope that if you enroll, which I really encourage you to do, there's a 10-day money back guarantee, so it's really risk free to do this. That you start diving into the content right away, that you start looking at the course curriculum, that you start considering what kind of a person you could be if you chose to really master these topics. So I'm just going to look over the curriculum and share a few things now. It's so exciting. I say that even though I created it because I'm just so passionate about this field. So soul personality is one. How much is your personality coming from your soul, your spirit, the immortal, infinite part of you? And how much is it a collection of personality patterns throughout this life. That's a really interesting thing to hear in terms of what is the core, true, authentic higher you, and what parts of you are programs or societal conditioning, where deep down those aren't really who you are. They're ways you're used to thinking and acting, perhaps, but not your core identity. So it actually starts off with soul personality. It goes into a lot of things, like a workshop on practical spirituality, the power of I am statements, which are ways of having affirmations be way more amplified in their impact, in their significance, in their intention. And to be quite honest, the speed at which affirmations can affect your life and affect your own personal transformation more rapidly. How does magic work? That's a big one. What is magic? And I define it as the science of applied consciousness. So Arthur C. Clarke always said the more advanced sciences are akin to magic for people who are not sufficiently advanced. There's parts of magical homework, clarity, consistency, plant medicines, expanded awareness, open chakras, spiritual connections, third eye opening, and similar perceptions. In fact, if that's been a topic for you, and it's a huge topic for so many people, I really encourage you to consider, what would it mean to have a third eye as open as you'd like it to be? There's a lot of stories out there. There's a lot of things which I feel are very close to fact. There's a lot of things which are much closer to fiction. But ultimately, seeing and feeling energy, being able to work with and manipulate energy, understanding that matter at a fundamental level is or is mostly energy, and that can all be shifted and affected with intention. Why is that? How does that work? Does it matter the why, or does it matter more the what, and then the how in terms of the techniques? So a lot of that's in there too. And I have so many topics like magical theory of the soul, synchronicities. We have a 3-part video series, like about half an hour, a little bit more than half an hour of content, because there's so much richness in synchronicities. They're like a breadcrumb trail to oneness. And I think you'll really love them. I think you'll really appreciate them. Topics like worship, a lot of spiritual systems and techniques and key points have been wrapped in religion over the millennia. And if you're somebody who is deeply religious in your faith, then of course I understand that comes first to you. And what I would offer is there's a component of worship, a component of ritual that has a significant effect on consciousness, on processing, on intention, on your relationship with the divine, or if you are an atheist or an agnostic or a different word, your relationship with the greater universe and life as a whole. And so there's a couple other things like raising your vibration, how gratitude works. And one of my favorites, this is best for last, is personal power, how to be a champion. Especially now as I'm recording this in 2020, there's so many global events, political scenarios, people who are feeling like they're treated well or not treated well, and need to find that own inner power, but in a loving, compassionate way. And as David Hawkins wrote in Power versus Force, often that comes from being in a very aligned and clear place. And it's very easy when life gives us its many gifts to shift out of our alignment, usually unconsciously. The ego takes over, the higher self, intuitive soul has a backseat, it's often shoved aside, and then we're emotional, or we try to be forceful, or we have this level of intensity that doesn't really match or align who we are, what we're about, and why we're here. And when you're aligned with those higher truths, it's much easier to stand in your truth and in your personal power, and with very few words, very few actions, achieve a shift in your own internal reality, and often sometimes in your relationships as a result. And this workshop on personal power is huge for boosting confidence, boosting your ability to articulate what you want, what you don't want, what your boundaries are, and all those very practical real world topics in a spiritual container with guided meditations. So that's all for now. Please comment below if you have any questions. Again, I'm so excited to share this with you. I just wanted to wish you a lovingly happy, beautiful, good day.